Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Summer Series here in the Goat Locker Racing League. You're watching V-Speed. I'm Eddie Smith, and tonight we hit Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for Road America for round number 6 of this IndyCar series. It's been an incredible series all year long so far, and we are just 3 races away from crowning a champion in this fun little summer series. It's been a great time, and tonight's going to be no different. We're going to take it to a road course and see what these guys have got. We've been to quite a few of them this season so far. We had Mid-Ohio, and then we had Long Beach, which Long Beach was just a lot of fun to watch. And then we are now going to Road America, and we'll finish it up at Laguna Seca, which I cannot wait for. That's going to be just a blast. But you take a look there, just 3 races remain in this series. And while the championship is important, it's not everything in this series. I think it's important to realize that this is just supposed to be fun. And, hey, fun it has been for sure. So, looking forward to tonight's race. We'll see what these guys have got to get to the finish. Who can come away with the victory? Scott Rankin won last week. That takes a commanding lead in this series with 140 points. He was about a 4-way tie last week, but now has a 7-point advantage over Ryan Pendleton, who has a 1-point advantage over Brian Provo. So And the points battle is still tight between those four. Patrick Dravik's about 12 points back in the 5th position. So there is a lot that can change over time. Well, qualifying is currently underway, and man, we've just got just a few minutes left in this thing, and just a couple minutes. So let's go ahead. It's something that we've been forgetting to do. We're not going to forget to do it tonight, and that is we're going to do our national anthem. We'll send over to Jared Ashley for that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. Well, thank Jared Ashley for that. And we'll get into this thing as qualifying has just finished up. Let's take a look at Road America. Road America has 14 turns, a very long track, over 4 miles, and it is a tricky track indeed, but a lot of straightaways, a lot of opportunities to use those push to pass, something that we'll talk about before we get this thing rolling. You see asphalt road course, and you can see open in 1995. It's called Elton Park Lakes Road America. Simplified it a little bit. I like that. So 12 turns. You can see a very, very fun track. I think Road Atlanta is very similar in a lot of ways. I really like both of those tracks. If you've got speed, that power that you have under the hood of these things, these tracks right here can really kind of let it eat a little bit. We like that around here. Let's take a look at your grid. Let's see where everybody's starting today for the Big Fish Barbecue Pole Award. We got to give that out, and let's start with the grid. On the front row, no surprise to see these two out front. Scott Rankin going to be on the front row with Nathan Graham there in second. Third and fourth going to be Brian Provo, Ryan Pendleton, two championship contenders going to be starting in row number 2. Row number 3 going to be Jason Potter with Patrick Dravick there in that Lincoln Tech Dallara IndyCar. Got Jacob Ellingson in 7th. 8th is going to be Alan Marshall. In 9th is going to be Matt Knights. Keith Haney in the 10th spot. 11th, George Jewell with Doug Ellingson. I think Doug has had some sort of issue with his pedals. He may not be able to start the race. We'll see if he can get back in this thing at some point. And then rounding out the field is going to be Jonathan Barker and Mark Holofield, bringing up the rear of the field in the 14th spot. Well, everybody gridding up, getting ready to get this thing rolling. And yeah, let's take a look at our driver cams here tonight. We got Patrick Dravick, we got Jacob Ellingson, you got Nathan Graham, and Scott Rankin making an appearance here. See everybody getting their gloves tight. They don't have any seat belts on. Hopefully they don't need those. That's one thing I hope that we don't have is a need for seat belts in our sim rigs, but gloves we do need. Funny enough, you can have issues with blisters and stuff, but some of these wheels, it can be a problem. So you see those guys getting ready to go. and we start to roll off here. Let's talk a little bit about the race analysis here tonight. We've got 30 laps, an hour and 50 minutes if we need it. And so we'll see which one comes first. You have to make a pit stop. That's most important. You have to swap tire compounds at least once. And there are some rumors that we might have to make 3 stops or 2 stops, excuse me. So going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. You might have to make a couple pit stops, but you see there on the left side of the screen, you got 10 push to pass total for the race. Obviously different for the road courses than the ovals, and that allows them to have about 50 more horsepower. That way they can make those passes down those long straights, and you'll be able to keep up with it there on the standings and keep track of how many folks have it. When they're activated, you'll actually see a little chevron go across their name to indicate that they are currently using push to pass. So fun little thing for the viewers to see, and that way they can pay attention to who's using what and when and how many they have left. We'll try to keep that up to date as we go on. Of course, we will also talk about tire compounds. You can see what they're starting on. Everybody starting on the well, we're going to call it soft and hard. The soft is going to be the red tire, and the hard is going to be the white one. The red one obviously has a little bit more grip. The white has a little bit less grip, but can go a little bit longer. So we'll see how the strategies work off. You can see Brian Provo there starting on the softs. Everybody around him starting on the hard. So we'll see just how that plays out towards the end of this thing. That's going to be, I think that's going to be an important thing to this race. But right now, it's all about getting out, getting going, and these guys are going to be making some lap time here early, trying to get out front, make a little bit of distance, and we'll see how the pit strategy plays out. I think that'll be a lot of fun to see. But a very long track, going to be a very long formation lap, but coming around to the final few corners, we'll get this thing green, and we'll see who can make 30 laps before anybody else and take home the victory. Looking for your first pit stop right around the 11, 12 lap mark, I would imagine. We'll see exactly how that plays out, but that is what I expect. But right now, I mean, all eyeballs are on Scott Rankin and Nathan Graham. They were kind of the belle of the balls at Long Beach. They really laid down some really good laps over and over again, had a great battle, and I expect to see the same thing here. Brian Provo, Ryan Pendleton said before the race, I didn't get a whole lot of practice, so I'm not feeling too confident. So we'll see. We'll see exactly how that plays out. Maybe he can get going, get some laps under his belt, and maybe try to move forward, get up there and get a win. Try to get some of those points. And all those guys, Scott Rankin just needs to have a good day. He doesn't need to do anything crazy, and he'll be fine. But these guys looking for a mistake out of Scott Rankin. See if they can try to make up some of those points with just a few races left. Got Nashville next week and then Laguna Seca. So an oval and a road course to settle this thing. The longest formation lap probably in iRacing, I would imagine. I mean, maybe, I don't know if they do formation laps at the Nürburgring, but this is a pretty good one. So, all right, pace car getting ready to pull off. We got 30 laps here at Road America. Barney gonna have the green flag in his hand, getting ready to wave that thing. Look how long this straightaway, and green flag is out here in the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. As it go down into turn 1, Scott Rankin is going to have the lead. Nathan Graham going to fall in second place. And Brian Provo is going to be able to take over the third spot. So they get single file really quickly, as everybody so far has been able to cleanly make it through. It looks like Doug Ellingson is going to get out on track and maybe get some laps. As you can see, big race up front is Nathan Graham looking to the outside. That's kind of bringing everybody else along with him. Brian Provo sneaks up in there, and you can see Scott Rankin, Nathan Graham already used a push to pass on that initial lap, trying to gain a little space, but I think both of them using it at the same time has kind of helped bring everybody along. So Brian Provo now just watching, trying to stick with these guys, But I would imagine this top 4 battle, no offense to anybody else, the top 4 battle is going to be really good, I think, all night long. Now, right now, Brian Provo does have the better tires here in the first couple laps, so he really, really needs to make use of it now, because it's quite possible that those fade very quickly, especially how long the laps are. You can see Matt Nice there using that push to pass. You can see that indicator that lets you know. So you see that, you know, the guy is using a push to pass. But right now on board with Brian Provo, as he needs to use those tires to his advantage. Get out there, get out front. See just how long these straightaways are, the amount of draft that comes into play. Scott Rankin really just kind of pulling these guys along. But so far, so good. Everybody getting away pretty clean up front. You can see here's the 4-car breakaway. They are just really, really incredible at this style of racing, and everybody else behind them has really kind of spread out. So, and you already saw, if you make a move, you better be able to make the pass cleanly. You get side by side these guys all over you, so kind of running in a little draft pack almost right now. Scott Rankin still leads though. On board with Nathan Graham here as he is keep that 156 car in his sights. There we go. He was taking up too much of my screen. Now, when to use those push to pass, man, that is such a tough call, because, man, what a button. I mean, a button that you can press. Oh, it's Brian Provo now going to go to the inside and take over that second position. So Provo, like I said, got to use those tires. Got to take advantage of them right now, because he is not going to have that advantage for too long. So take a look at the tire compounds on the left side, Brian, with those softer tires. Everybody has got to make a change. So what will be the decision on the first pit stop? Will you change then? Will you put the same tires back on? What will you do? That'll be a fun thing to figure out as we go on. But right now, it looks like everybody is pretty equal up front. Very similar lap times. Provo, obviously the fastest on the track, because the tires have really gotten up the temp here. And Provo's going to use that push to pass. You can see it. That gives him that momentum. 50 horsepower down the straightaway. And Scott Rankin not going to defend. It looks like going to just allow that to happen and say, you know what, your tires are going to get eaten up. I'm going to chase you back once those start to fade a little bit. So Provo goes out front using that push to pass. No defensive from Scott Rankin. Now, the last time we went to a road course, and if you're familiar with IndyCar, look at Nathan Graham get some of that dirt. If you're familiar with IndyCar, you probably know a lot of this stuff, but a lot of our crowd might be oval racers. So some things we saw last time we were at a road course, we saw a lot of defensive uses out of Scott Rankin, using the push to pass defensively to hold off Nathan Graham at the end of that race. So we'll see if that plays a factor. You want to save those as long as you can, if possible, and have them at the end. And Scott Rankin didn't use it to pass. It was push to defend. Nathan Graham was using them to try to get around him, and Scott Rankin would use it at the same time to try to defend that. So if you can bank them and save them to the end, that's a pretty good strategy. As Polo's going to go off the track. He goes off the track, goes a little bit wide, grabs the grass, and he is going to go off track, and that's going to give the lead back to Scott Rankin. Provo now going to be many, many seconds behind. You can see the gap now. But Nathan Graham going to use that push to pass. He goes around Scott Rankin. So the battle for track position is on as everybody's trying to position themselves out front. That's where you want to be. You have the cleanest air. But with these long straightaways, yeah, I think it's important, but it's also very, very I don't know. It's nice to have the draft, these long straightaways, to kind of ride and just be there. But look, here comes Ryan Pendleton. Look down to the inside, but did not have. Oh, he does get a dive down there and try to take over second. Still there on the inside, Scott Rankin not quite giving him the position. Now Rankin going to be in the right line on the inside, but they're battling wheel to wheel. That's going to allow Nathan Graham to pull away, but Ryan Pendleton finally able to take that spot. You can see how quickly, a second and a half, that Nathan Graham has been able to pull away. Right now, Nathan Graham gets out there early. Ryan Pendleton not used one single push to pass yet, but all three drivers up here on those hard tires. Now Provo is, man, he is making up some time here. And that mistake really killed him. He really needed to get out there and pull away. But dropping those left sides out in that dirt, there is no grip out there. It was really tough on him. He was able to get joined back up, and he is quickly running these guys back down. 180 miles an hour, 185 by the end of the straightaway. That is scooting right there. Taking a look into your lap times here, they might be a little bit hard to see, but you can see the last lap. Nathan Graham, fastest one on the track by quite a bit. He is laying down. He laid down a heater there. Now there was some battling going on, but behind him is Provo gets a really loose right there as he's trying to do everything he can to keep up with these guys. You can see these. Ryan Pendleton got a little sideways there. That's awesome to see. You hate to see everybody kind of locked down in the track. You want to see them have to work for it. They definitely are right now. Ryan Middleton's in a great spot, able to gain a couple spots from where he started, and just a second away, and actually is caught up to Nathan Graham a little bit. He still has all 10 push to passes still left in the holster. We'll see lap times. This will be a pretty good indication of where everybody's speed is when they cross the line, and then we'll have a pretty good idea. All right, as they get ready to cross the stripe, we'll see exactly what their lap times are when they see there. Ryan Pendleton, 147.122, so that is the fastest on the track at the moment. Scott Rankin, though, not far behind. They are really laying down the lap time. Let's go on board with Ryan Pendleton. Just over 1 second away. Still electing to hold on to that push to pass, and we're about halfway through, I think, this stint. All the way down to first, using every bit of track that he can. Actually, a little bit of tire spin there, a little sharp left-hander. See how aggressive you can be with these cars, just so much downforce. We'll stay on board with Ryan Pendleton for a lap, and let's go around together, and we'll see what it's like. We'll go all the way around one time, unless something happens, and watch and see how he's getting around this track. But Nathan Graham has started to pull away just a little bit here. Using every bit of track as they come to a very important right-hander here. You have to nail that right there. And you see Ryan did not do that, so he's going to lose a little bit of time there to Scott Rankin. Scott Rankin going to get a big run, but you have to nail that particular corner because look at how long this straightaway is. That is a lot of speed. If you don't get the power down, it can be very, very difficult. So Scott Rankin got a little bit better exit there, able to kind of close that gap to about under 4/10 at the moment. But being aggressive on those outer curves, not so much the inner ones. You don't want to bounce up out of the groove. You want to really use that downforce, stay glued to the track. Let's see if he almost touches him there, but you can see he's going all the way out to that runoff spot. And that is a lap here at Road America. So right now, this is the best battle on the track. You go back to the 5th position, Jason Potter, who started in the 5th position. He's currently running in that 5th position, so he's having a great run here. Just inside the top 5, really nobody else around him. He's able to lay down some really fast lap times. Patrick Dravick not having the great night, not what I expect out of him, honestly. He has been pretty good every single race, even the road courses, so I expect him to hold on a little bit closer to these guys, but may have had a couple runoffs. I don't see his incidents, but may have had a couple issues getting around this place. This place is tough, I gotta say. He currently runs in the 6th position, Lincoln Tech. Giving them all the love in the world. I tell you what, Patrick will be the first one to put the main sponsors logo on his cars. He's always representing those who are big supporters of Goat Locker, man. So he loves to support those folks. So Brian Provo has gone off track yet again. So he is trying, but he has lost his front wing. So now he's going to have to come down pit lane and get that fixed a little bit earlier than he wanted to, that's for sure. Let's go back and see if we can find out what happened. Take a look at the replay here. Oh, somebody's sitting on the track. Mark Hollifield sitting on the track, and that's what happened to Brian Provo. As he comes off the corner, go back and see if maybe we can find out what happened to the Holyfield. It looks like he might be missing. And I think, yeah, he's already missing a left front wing. He may not know that you can go in and fix it. And having some sort of issues, he's sitting there. And I think maybe he stopped just to try to let everybody go, but for Provo, I don't think he knew he was there. So yeah, bummer there for Brian Provo as Holyfield's still having issues here on the track. He needs to go in and get that fixed as he is missing a front wing. That car will not drive well at all with that front wing pretty much off. So you can go in, no fast repairs in this series, but you can go in and get a front wing replaced. So we'll see. Up here in the 2nd position, Scott Rankin had gotten really close, currently using a push to pass to get to Ryan Pendleton, and that brings him down to that 7 mark. So Ryan Pendleton still has all 10. But Scott Rankin feels like Nathan Graham is getting away and is trying to get around this number 23 machine. Now as here comes Scott Rankin again with another push to pass. See if he can make this move here. 50 more horsepower, give or take. And you can see the difference as he goes around Ryan Pendleton. Pendleton gives a little wide berth. Going to try to do the crossover. Put a little pressure. Is there wheel to wheel? Little tire smoke out of Ryan Pendleton, and he is fighting for what could be the race win. A little wheel bang there, and Scott Rankin will take over that 2nd spot. Now after that battle, Scott Rankin goes off the track. Oh my goodness. Brian Provo, now Scott Rankin with just small mistakes, and that's what happens here in these races, these small mistakes. He'd used a couple push to pass to try to initiate and get that spot. Finally gets it, then runs off almost immediately. That is the most frustrating thing that can happen for a points leader. But still running in that 3rd spot, Brian Provo far and away, so Scott Rankin's still in a good spot here. He's still got a pretty good lead. Just doesn't need to have a race-ending type scenario, that's for sure. So just kind of drove off a little bit into the sand pit, came back on, and still about a second and a half behind Ryan Pendleton. Nathan Graham continues to pull away now, 146.9 as he crossed the line. And last couple times, it has been pretty impressive. Let's go check out on Brian Provo, who currently runs in the 7th position. Did come back in, get that wing put on. So he had to make a pit stop early, and he did change his tires. We'll take a look at we're going to wear this stuff out. Got all this information now. We might as well use it. We'll see. Maybe we have a qualifying tire compound. We'll waste a whole lot of time for no reason, a bunch of silly stuff. But you can see the tire compound there. Brian Provo now has swapped over to the hards. They'll get those up to speed, trying to make up that time. We'll see if the fuel stint's going to hurt him. It may be okay. He might have gotten it just the right time, able to go in and kind of do an undercut and see how that plays off. And you see he runs off the track again as he's currently on his out lap. Nathan Graham, your leader, 1.4 second advantage over Ryan Pendleton, who has a 0.8 of a second advantage over Scott Rankin. And expecting pit stops in the next couple laps is, Ryan Pendleton got a little bit loose there. Here we go, opening the door. Scott Rankin to make another shot at second place. When do you come in and make that stop? You know, if somebody can make it to lap 15, and we'll see if anybody tries to split it in half. I think that's pushing it. I'm not quite sure they can make it that far. And Nathan Graham coming down pit road, so we know the answer to that. It is going to be a big no. So Nathan Graham comes down pit road to make one of two stops we're going to have here tonight. We'll see what he decides to do as far as tire strategy goes. I think we'll see him on the hard tires this time, and then he slides through his box. That'll be a good amount of time. You don't want to do that. So we'll see what he swaps to. Is he getting tires, fuel, waiting on that fuel, waiting, got to fill it all the way up. And you can see he swaps over to the soft tire, so he will go hard then soft on the tires, but he'll come out. He'll bleed. He'll be about 40 seconds back from Ryan Pendleton. He stays out on track, and we're expecting them to come in pit road probably this time. While we're waiting on the pit cycles, definitely want to thank our sponsor, Lincoln Tech, for their sponsorship of this series. Looking forward to a long and prosperous relationship between Goat Locker and Lincoln Tech. Jam Printing and Promotions, of course, Veterans for Life Foundation, Cruising Classics, and many more here in this summer series has been pretty awesome. Invets and relevant sounds coming on board for the ARCA series and the truck series. So definitely appreciate all those sponsors. As we got more people down pit road. Matt Knight's down on pit road. Alan Marshall has some major damage, and you can see him right in front in that 82 machine. He has got big damage. He is getting a tow currently on pit road. You know, it's like Matt Knight's may have some damage as well, as he is sitting there getting some of that fixed up. So just two drivers in the top four have come down pit road. Looks like Matt Knights has called it quits. A little bit of lap traffic up in front of Ryan Pendleton. He's going to go to the inside of Mark Hollenfield, who takes it off the track to stay out of the leader's way, and able to do that without any kind of issue at all, as Nathan Graham takes over the fourth position. That is about as impressive as it gets as he passes Patrick Drabick. Drabick has yet to make his stop. So right now, Nathan Graham is moving quickly. As here goes Scott Rankin. Oh, and Ryan Pendleton gets loose as he's trying to get the power down. Could not do it. And now Scott Rankin will take over the lead here on lap 12, expecting him to come down pit road this time. We'll see if they do that. They do not. They stay out on the track, so they'll go around yet another time. But Scott Rankin able to get that position. Let's go back if we can and try to see how exactly he did that. Back it up just a little bit more. Gets a nice run right here. Goes right down to the inside. Middleton tried to push him to the left a little bit more, but Rankin just had such a great drive, and then Ryan Pendleton gets loose, and that was enough for that to happen. So Scott Rankin now takes over that second spot, but right now losing very important time to Nathan Graham, who has already made that stop. So he should be laying down some pretty quick lap times of 1:45.2 on the soft. So yeah, he is about a 2.5 second advantage over Scott Rankin, your leader at the moment, with those new tires. Take a look at this. You see he's right there on the edge. He got a little bit of counter steer there to keep the power or car under him. He is definitely not taking it easy. As we take a look at Scott Rankin here, still out on track, waiting for him to make his stop. And right now, I mean, if Nathan Graham can keep the car on the track, he is. This is a battle for second place at the moment. Scott Rankin coming down pit road. Ryan Pendleton following along, so they will come down to make their first of likely 2 stops. They can't quite make it to lap 15, so I don't think they'll be able to. It's not worth it to try to just one stop it. At the pace that Nathan Graham is running, I think it's well worth it to come on down pit road. So Nathan Graham will likely, he's about 20 seconds back from these guys. It takes about 13, 14 seconds to make their stop. Then they still have to come back out of pit road. So wait and see if they're able to get out close to him. But it looks like here he comes right now. Nathan Graham now flying out right as Scott Rankin comes out of pit road. Scott might be able to hold him off, but Nathan Graham, oh, he's going to run off the track. And Scott Rankin does it. Comes out of pit road and able to hold on to the top spot as Nathan Graham goes out wide. What a great cycle there for Scott Rankin, able to get around Ryan Pendleton, and now has been able to take over the lead. And Scott Rankin has gone for the hard tires yet again. So he has gone from hard to hard, and he will try to do he'll go long here, try to do a quick little soft stint at the end. So right now, Nathan Graham has to make up a lot of time, use these tires to its advantage, and so does Ryan Pendleton. Ryan Pendleton also now on the soft tires. Take a look there. Scott Rankin still on those hard tires. And you can see back there in 4th and 5th, Patrick Drabick, Jacob Ellingson, they have yet to come down pit road. They're still on the same tires that they started on. So interesting call. And see Nathan Graham going to use a little push to pass here. Try to make up that ground that he lost. I mean, he was really sending on the outside, knowing how important that clean air is. And wasn't able to do this. Somebody is off track here. It looks like, Mark Hollifield back off track again as everybody trying to get around him as he tries to stay out of the way. He has fixed that front wing. But Mark trying to be careful around this track and Mark is new to iRacing. He is out here just having a good time, hanging out with the boys. But these cars are another beast. And a lot of these guys, Scott Rankin, Nathan Graham, Ryan Pendleton, Patrick Dravick, Ellingson, Provo, those guys have have run the IndyCar a few times. The top four have run them quite a bit. Very, very competitive. But Mark just trying to get some seat time. The only way you can get faster in these type of cars, these type of tracks, is to practice, get out on track. And, it seems like it's tough, because he's currently running off the track quite a few times. You think, well, he needs to get off the track. No, he doesn't. That's not what we're here for. We're here to have folks a place to race, and he's got to learn, and he is doing that right now. He's learning how to get around these tracks, how to navigate these cars. These open-wheel cars are a total different beast than anything that you're used to, because you really have to lay the throttle down and trust that the downforce is going to carry you to the corner. The slower you go, the less downforce you have. And you can see exactly that right there as he loops it around. You got to keep your foot in it to get as much downforce as you can, so it has a lot of grip. So it is a tough car to drive. And so I applaud Mark for being out here. He's staying out of the way, but he's putting in the time, putting in the laps, and that's only going to make him better. So good for him. But up here, we got a battle now. Ryan Pendleton has closed in on Nathan Graham. Graham really pushing it, trying to keep up with the leader, Scott Rankin, but that has opened the door for Ryan Pendleton to take over the second spot. He's got about 3 lap fresher tires, and that doesn't sound like much to us oval folks, but this is a 4-mile racetrack, over a minute and 45 seconds per lap. And here we go, big run for the 23, and Nathan Graham tries to outbrake him, but can't do it. Ryan Pendleton, look how important it is to have that lead and have that be out front, because Nathan Graham has gone from first all the way to third after this cycle. But you got to be impressed with Ryan Pendleton at the moment. And, I know very little about IndyCar. So, and no, there he goes. He drives off the track, gets some air. And here comes Nathan Graham back down. Going to try to go around him, but does it. Holy cow, that was close. Go back and check that again. We won't spend too much time on it, but I want to see on board is what happened to Pendleton there. Is, man, on the B-Speed replay. Watch this. Just getting in there as deep as he can. Gonna miss the apex. You see the front tires turning to the left, sliding the fronts. And I think maybe Graham had maybe cut him a break there. I like that. So we're back on live. You see Ryan able to pull away a little bit. I think Nathan Graham knows that his tires are a little bit cooked at the moment. Those soft tires don't last too long before they start to fall off. And that's what Pendleton's trying to take advantage of. Try to get up there and keep Scott Rankin as close as possible. But, yeah, just to beat this to death, I mean, the push-to-pass, I think, is a very interesting tool to have in your toolbox. I mean, in F1, they have DRS system, which is drag reduction. Their wings, that rear wing that they have back there on these cars, in F1, their wings actually drop down, or open up is a better way of saying it, where air can travel through there. Now, it's really bad in the corners, but on the straightaway, it just adds a lot less drag, and you gain a ton of speed. Well, the version in IndyCar just adds horsepower, and you take that, and it gives you a lot of extra speed down these long straightaways. And right now, I feel like Ryan Pendleton has managed that the best. Currently, it still has all of his push-to-pass. Now, you don't want to end the race with those. You definitely want to use them, but he is doing a great job of managing it. Now, on this final stint, he will have 10 he can use, and right now, only a second away from the lead. He may be in a pretty good spot. He will have to, I believe, I guess he can pick whatever tire he wants to use, so we'll see if he does go back on the softs or goes on the hards. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. Jacob Ellingson has gone by his teammate Patrick Dravick and taken over at that 6th spot. Hey, let's take a look and see what happened there, how he made that pass, push to pass, obviously being used here. And Patrick Rabbit says, hey, bud, go on by. You can have it. So that was a pass for 6 spots. So now Jacob about 25 seconds back from 5th place Jason Potter, and at a danger currently of going a lap down by the end of this thing. But I mean, it's just no surprise. These guys up front are just something else. They are in a different class. Scott Rankin still leads by 1.1 seconds. Those soft tires of Ryan Pendleton starting to fade just a little bit. We saw Nathan Graham's fade around lap 4, where Pendleton is right now. So I think Scott has got a pretty good strategy here, and we might see him start to pull away as this run goes on. So right now, Scott Rankin has a really nice strategy going. Pendleton, I think, is in the catbird seat. Yeah, obviously, if Scott makes a mistake, he's going to be right there. But those push-to-passes that Pendleton has, I think we'll be interested to see how he makes use of those, as we only have 12 laps to go. Watching these two go around the track, they're lapping very similar lap times. Ryan Pendleton was about 0.3 of a second faster. Take a look here at the comparison between the two. That time, Scott Rankin a little bit faster, about a tenth faster that time. So this will be a very important lap, as though I think Ryan Pendleton might have slid the rears a little bit there, but able to maintain that gap. He's holding on to that draft. I know he's got to be itching to use that push to pass a little bit, especially in this part right here. But you can see Ryan Pendleton using that draft a little bit faster in Sector 1, and Sector 2 has been where Scott Rankin is. Old Caulfield is right there off the track. This is where Scott Rankin has been faster. But we'll see if Pendleton can make up a little bit of ground here, a little bit faster, pretty much dead even there in Sector 1. As they still have maintained the same gap here, 1.1 seconds, 1.0 seconds, about the same. Still waiting on that final stop. They went about 14 laps, or about 12, 13 laps. As you can see, Pendleton about a minute and a half slower in sector number 2. But they ran about 12, 13 laps there that first stint, and they are on lap 5 of this one currently at the moment. So they still got a ways to go, and it will be a short stint. So right now, if you're Scott and you're Ryan, you're obviously, you've got auto fuel now that'll kind of calculate it, but you really want to be thinking about how much fuel you want to put in the car, get that prepared. You know you're going to put a set of tires on. You obviously want to have less fuel, less time in pit stop. All that's going to be really important. Getting in and out of your box. That slide from Nathan Graham, you wonder just how big a difference that made when he slid through his box. And I think we're seeing exactly how big a difference that did make. He was laying down some really fast lap times, but they have been able to overtake him by quite a lot. As he continues to try to keep up with these guys. He actually ran a pretty fast lap time last time by, so we'll see if he can make some magic. You see Ryan Pendleton now almost 2/10 slower that first sector. He's been consistently faster than Rankin, so didn't have a great one See, last lap there, he was a little bit faster, but that was the last 2/3 of the track. Scott Rankin has been a lot better. Right now, Scott Rankin's still on those hard tires, so this is where the sweet spot of those tires are going to start to come into play. And I think Scott has got the strategy down. He is doing 2 hards and then a short stint of softs, and we've seen those soft tires fall off incredibly fast. So it seems like Scott Rankin has the strategy down pat. I'm a little concerned for Ryan Pendleton's chances. I think if he's going to have a shot, he's going to have to maybe, I don't know. I don't really know what to do here. Come down pit road, get those. He can choose whether to come on the softs or the hards. But I'm not sure what he'll decide to do. Probably just do the same thing that Scott's going to do, which is come down and put softs on. Scott must put softs on the final stop. But I talked to him before the race, and that's what his strat was. He's going to run hards the first 2 stints and then soft on the final short stint. And I think that was the right call, because so far soft tires have been really good for a couple laps and then started to fade. So and we're seeing that exactly as it's like hey, Brian Provo has gone by Nathan Graham, so I don't know if Graham went off the track or what happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He went off track. Let's see if we can go back and find out what happened to Nathan here. Well, I have no idea. It seems like that was when he was on pit road. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what happened to Nathan Graham, but Provo was able to get out in front of him. Oh, Graham came down pit road. Okay. Well, excuse me. There's a lot going on there, and I completely missed it. So, Graham, that is why he ran off track off pit road. He came down pit this lap and has put on his final set of soft tires, trying to do a little undercut, try to make up some ground. And now he's going to chase down 3rd place Brian Provo, who is still looking to make his final stop. He should be doing that really soon. I can't imagine. He's been on the track for about 13 laps. He is still on those hard tires, so we'll see when he decides to come down pit road. Ryan Pendleton has come down pit road, and 4 tires of fuel for him. I would imagine he's going to put the softs right back on. He has already been on the hard tires, and he's going to go soft. So right now he's going to go out there and try to lay down as many laps as he can. But we're still with 8 laps. I don't know. I don't really know how well he's going to be able to make this time up. I think Scott Rankin has the strategy at the moment, as Nathan Graham has gone by Provo as he now goes down pit road to make his final stop. But Ryan Pendleton finally uses one of his push to pass. He's got 9 left here on his out lap. That's when you want to use them. And I think he's got, really 2 good spots to use push to pass every single lap. But he's got about 8 laps to go, so he will definitely be using 1 per lap, I would imagine. Because at this point, he is going to have to really lay down some real heater laps to run down Scott Rankin. And then he's going to have to defend his life. For his life, as Rankin comes down pit road. He's going to put on the soft tires, and it is going to be a dogfight, I would imagine. So Pendleton going to do the best he can. Let's go on board watch as he's going to be putting down the fastest lap times he can. Oh, and then he goes off the track. You see how hard he's pushing those limits. Still waiting on the leader, Scott Rankin, to come down pit road. We're watching his 2nd place, Ryan Pendleton, is trying to lay down as many fast laps as he can. You see the push to pass on, P2P on, that green on the dash. That's telling you that he is getting all he got it out of that little motor. And that push to pass lasts all the way until you let off the throttle. So you can burn one really easily if you're not careful. If you use it too early, let's say you try to go and use the push to pass right there, then you get loose and have to lift. You burn that push to pass. He waited till he was on the straightaway, then activated it. So make sure, because if you lift, you'll lose it. And boy, that will be very, very frustrating. So using that draft that he's got in front of him, I think that, I'm not really sure who that is out in front of him, but using that draft along with the push to pass, you have to be careful here as that driver gets loose. Going to let him go, though. Smart move by whoever that is. I think it's Jonathan Barker. So I know Ryan definitely appreciates Jonathan for that. But Ryan has definitely been laying them down. We're going to see what this lap time is as he crosses the line. You see Provo there using a push to pass. So they are going to start burning them on this final stint. This is where you use everything you got. Rankin still with the 5 as Ryan continues to use them up. Waiting on Rankin to come down pit road, and he does now. So here you come, the leader. This is going to be interesting to see where Ryan Pendleton, how close he is to Rankin as they come off pit road. This will be the race right here. This is going to be very, very tough. Pendleton just with the 1 lap on his tires, and Rankin's going to have to wait on those tires to come up to temp. So Ryan Pendleton will be using every bit of it. He has been laying them down under 5 seconds here. Scott Rankin going to get going. Very quick stop. Almost a second faster than Ryan Pendleton, but Pendleton can see him. But a great stop out of Scott Rankin. Oh, and Rankin going to go wide off the corner. Those cold tires that we talked about. Now Rankin back to second. Pendleton takes over the lead. Ryan Pendleton uses another one. Going to try to gap Scott Rankin down the straightaway. This is his best opportunity to make up time on Scott Rankin. After this, it's going to be full-on defense for Ryan Pendleton. Pendleton's got the heat in his tires. Scott Rankin still trying to get those tires up to temperature. It's going to take about half a lap for that to happen. But once he does, then it's full-on attack mode. He's going to have about a lap and a half fresher tires on those softs than what Pendleton has. So Pendleton is going to have to defend his life away, but those saved push to passes definitely made for some really good use there. As now they are dead even when it comes to those push to passes. We'll take a look here on your tower. You can see 5 for each, but Pendleton doing a great job getting out to a second and a half, trying to get that draft on iRacing. It's not exact, but right around the 1.1 second mark down a straightaway. 1.2, you start to get a little bit of that draft. Mark Hollifield there out on the track, out of the way. That 1.2 seconds on those straightaways is where you want to be to get the natural draft and obviously use the push to pass. And then for Ryan Pendleton, I think, it looks like he's just going to use them all up and try to just lay down as many laps as he can. The only thing that's tough about this is Scott Rankin's tires are going to come alive this lap. So he will be at full bore. You see Scott just second behind as Ryan Pendleton did not have a great entry to that corner. That is going to hurt him. Now both of them using those push to pass. You can see that graphic on the tower that lets you know who's using what. So when you see that, you know somebody's got a little extra power under there. But the gap now to 0.8 of a second. Scott Rankin now has the advantage of the tires. Ryan Pendleton, the advantage of track position, that dirty air. So Rankin's got one extra push to pass that he can use. And both these drivers are going to lay down the fastest 5 laps that they could ever do. It's all about who makes the first mistake. Rankin can't afford to make a mistake here. He may not be able to catch back up to it. Pendleton cannot afford to make a mistake because once Scott Rankin gets around him, that might be the race. So this is your lead battle. What a way to end it here at Road America. 10 drivers on track, and we've got a feisty battle for the lead as Scott Rankin. Big toe down the straightaway. Did not use a push to pass there. And is right on the back bumper. of Ryan Pendleton. Where will he make his move? Come through this corner. Very important corner to get the power down. Ryan Pendleton defending. Uses the push to pass. Scott Rankin doesn't need to. He can just use the toe, the draft that he has got, and save how many he has left. Now he's got 4 to Ryan Pendleton's 2. Nathan Graham about 12 seconds back. Ryan Provo about 30 seconds back to him. So this is the battle. I can show you other cars on the track, but everybody is running on an island. Here we go. Scott Rankin uses his push to pass down the straightaway, and nothing that Ryan Pendleton can do. He's going to try to defend, maybe try to cut under Rankin here, but Scott Rankin back out front. Right now, Ryan Pendleton's tires starting to fall off the cliff. We've seen those. You can see almost a 4-wheel slide there on entry. He's trying to carry the same kind of speed, but the car almost just slides sideways on all 4 tires. And look how much that the gap that Scott Rankin was able to pull there. Now Scott's going to use a push to pass through this section and continue to push that gap away from Ryan Pendleton, who's now 8 tenths of a second back. Pendleton pushing the limits of what his car can do. It's very frustrating at this moment because Pendleton is at the worst part of, I think, of these soft tires comparatively. I think Scott Rankin right now is in the best. Lap 2 seems to be where those soft tires are just at optimal grip levels. And as you get into 4 and 5, where Ryan Pendleton is, just you've fallen off a cliff. So you can see just how big a difference those few laps make. And I think Pendleton tried everything he could, but Rankin, with just 3 laps to go, has got everything he needs to take this victory. And Ryan Pendleton does not even have the push to pass advantage he had from earlier. They are dead even. So right in front, that is Jacob Ellingson there. He's going to pull off the track, let Scott Rankin go. Teammate to Ryan Pendleton. So while they are teammates, Jacob Ellingson not electing to be a part of this battle. Let these guys battle it out. And Ellingson in 6th place will go a lap down. Scott Rankin has lapped up to 5th place. Jason Potter in 5th. He is about a minute and 12 seconds behind the leaders. As these two have just really, I think, have done a good race. I think Scott Rankin's going to get the victory here, but I think that Ryan Pendleton had a great strategy. I think he's probably kicking himself for taking the softs on that second stint, that middle stint. Scott Rankin, I think, definitely benefited from putting the hards on for the stint number 2. Oh, and Ryan Pendleton is going to go around, and the front wing off of that 23 machine. He's going to have to go down pit road and get that fixed, and that's big for the championship. He's missing his right front. Is all jacked up. So Ryan Pendleton will be out of this one. Right at the end, pushing as hard as he could, and unfortunately, Ryan Pendleton is going to be out. They'll be able to replace the front wing, but that front tire, you can see, it is all over the place. We'll see if they can fix it, but that is major suspension damage. So somebody who has hopes of winning the championship, who's just a few points back from Scott Rankin now, is going to be in big, big trouble. So Ryan Pendleton will go down. They'll put a set of tires on, but I just don't think they're going to be able to fix that right. That right front is toast. And it looks like Ellingson has called it quits as well. And so now all eyes on Scott Rankin with just a few laps to go. No longer needs to push, just needs to get that car back to victory lane. Nathan Graham about 14 seconds back. And Scott Rankin going to get win number 2 in a row for Scott Rankin, and I think as far as his championship favorite, he has definitely separated himself over the last couple weeks. As now he is who everyone's chasing, and I think it might be almost too little, too late. This will be his 3rd win on the season. He's got an average finish of 1st coming into this race, so if that tells you anything, he has been lights out all season long. Well, it looks like we're going to have just under an hour for this race. These guys clicked off this race really quickly. Love the road courses, no cautions. They're always fun to come in here. They almost land right at an hour. Great job by whoever set the laps up, Ryan Pendleton. Great job by him. Hit it right at an hour. I mean, we're going to be right now. It's a little under 2 minutes left in 58.5 minutes now. Just over an hour. Ryan Pendleton. A couple drivers still out on the track, but nobody's going to be able to catch him. He is going to be out of this thing. He is retired from the race and has started loading up on the truck. He will finish 6th, as nobody's going to be able to make up that time. So while not terrible, not what you want to see. Patrick Dravick's still out on the track. He is the last driver that has does not have some sort of issue. So he's getting in the top 5 now. Going to have a nice little finish as he is burning through his push to passes. But he is about 25 seconds ahead of Jason Potter. Nathan Graham is trying to keep tabs with Scott Rankin. He's made up about 2 seconds on this lap. He is really laying down some laps, trying to keep the pressure on Scott Rankin. Rankin obviously almost in victory lap mode, just taking it easy, keeping the car on the track. No need to push it. Graham has no benefit of that. He's going to try to push it as hard as he can, but Scott Rankin takes the white flag. 1 more lap to go here at Road America. 2 in a row for Scott Rankin is likely. And a commanding points lead for the 156 machine. That's Dravick. Going to take over 5th spot. It's like Jason Potter has had some sort of issue, and now as his own pit road had to reset, so Potter pushed it a little bit too hard, but it doesn't matter. Right now, Scott Rankin is coming across the start-finish line. He'll win 2 in a row. He'll take the win here at Road America. And fist pumps all around for Scott Rankin as he, man, what a great strategy call. What a great decision. What a plan to take the win, and he does it by force. And everybody was chasing him there at the end. I think strategy, I think speed, all 4 of those guys had very, very good speed. But I think that the strategy of Scott Rankin is definitely what made the difference there at the end. So just better strategy, that played that made all the difference in the world. And everybody was just chasing him there, and mistakes happening, and that's what you get. So everybody else crossing the line. Brian Provo will take the third position. And then still waiting on one more driver who's able to. Oh no, he is out because he is one lap down. So let's take a look at your results as Mark Hollifield comes flying through, takes out that Lincoln Tech machine, and let's take a look at your results and see where everybody finished. Scott Rankin, Nathan Graham, Brian Provo, your top three. That'll be your podium and all those guys on the lead lap. Patrick Dravick comes home in fourth, one lap down. Jason Potter was having a great run there in fourth, and just one little small mistake sends him off. He's going to be 2 laps down in fifth place. Sixth place, Ryan Pendleton. Obviously, we made note of what happened to him, so we won't twist the knife on that one. But tough night. Needed to finish either get a win or stay close to Scott Rankin to have a shot. And, finishing sixth definitely doesn't put him out of the championship at all, but it definitely doesn't help. And it's frustrating to have that happen, but comes home in sixth. Jacob Ellingson in seventh. Jonathan Barker in eighth. Mark Hollifield in ninth. Got a good top 10 for him. Alan Marshall in 10th. In 11th, George Jewell with Matt Knights in 12th. And Doug Ellingson and Keith Haney never started the race. Well, let's take a little short break, and we'll come back. We'll do some interviews, and we'll get you out of here and see what these guys have to say about it. All righty, we're back here at the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series, and let's talk to some of these drivers and see what they thought about the race. And we're going to bring in third place finisher Brian Provo into the broadcast booth. Brian, man, congratulations on a pretty good race. You had a little runoff there early in the race, kind of put you behind, but man, had to fight and claw, got your way back up into the podium position. Talk to me about your race a little bit.
Yeah, from the beginning, the other 3 guys around me all started on, the primary, the harder compound tire. I was like, well, I'll try a different strategy, start on softs to get a little speed out front, to hopefully get up to first. Ended up making the pass. They were kind of, being a little reserved on their, tires. I was pushing probably a little hard, and then, went off of the track, and then they, passed me back, but was able to keep up with them, and then unfortunate that, back marker was on the exit of that one turn, ended up blocking it up. But, luckily it happened right by the pits and was able to just start my strategy a little earlier. Yeah, and then just battling back. This is a tough track, a lot of focus. You have to concentrate. A lot of turns, a lot of different types of turns. A lot of off camber turns. So it's staying focused for 30 laps is a pretty tall task for all these guys out here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, talk to us a little bit more about the strategy to take the softs early. What was your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, but we were going back and forth if we're trying to push, just for one stop, and I was, if you could make the primaries last a little long and saving 1.5 laps of fuel, which I thought was pretty, probably wasn't going to happen. My thought was to just go hard and fast, the first 7 laps, pit a little, start my stint, like have a short stint first while those guys are going long on their primary tires, and then switch to hards and then see where it shakes out for the last stint, when we all switch back to alternates. So that was kind of my thought process. Might have worked if I didn't go off on the track when I kind of took the lead in the early stages, but it is what it is. That's racing. You gotta get complete the whole race, just like Scott. He was fast. So was Nate and Ryan. Just those guys are fast out there.
Well, just a couple races left in this series. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to watch you guys. Going to be tight. Scott Rankin kind of separated himself after the last couple weeks as far as a championship battle. But talk to me about Nashville. How you feeling about that next week?
Yeah, I know Nashville. It's similar to kind of Gateway. It's a fast track, but it's hard to pass. So qualifying well is gonna pay dividends, and then strategy too. If it's green flag race, that strategy is gonna play huge. Being able to save fuel or save tires one way or the other could kind of shake up who kind of comes out on top, I believe. So, if you're able to qual first, you kind of can hold the best strategy, but the guys behind you might be able to do something where you couldn't think of it, or better outcomes.
Well, all right. Well, congratulations on that third place finish. And as always, man, who you got to thank?
Yeah, big shout out to Lincoln Tech for sponsoring this IndyCar series. Invets out in Indiana. Relative Sound, Jam Printing Promotions, Cruising Classics out in Columbus, Ohio, Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, Right Now Roofing, Alexander PCs, veteran owned, builds all the Goat Locker PCs for the guys that are getting them, and then Big Fish Barbecue for the sponsor of the Pole Award.
All right. Well, there you have it. Ryan Provo comes home in third place. A great run out of him. And we'll move on to your second place finisher. And that is Nathan Graham. Nathan, this is Eddie in the booth.
Hey, Eddie. How's it going? Good copy.
Man, well, man, you had a fast piece tonight. Everything was going really well, and then just a couple mistakes was all that it took. One of them, and I would be interested to know what your thoughts were about, one that you felt like might have cost you the win tonight. But sliding through that pit stall on that one stop kind of put you behind when Scott Rankin was actually able to stay out front coming off of pit road. But come home in second. That's still a really awesome finish. Talk to me about your race.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that wasn't really what did it. I don't know if you guys caught was it lap 10? It was just passing a blue flag, and he, it just, looked like weird communication. I caught on the race line, so I went to the inside, and when I went to the inside, he went to the inside, and it ended up hitting my front wing off. So then I had to go pit early, get a wing, and my in lap was obviously really bad. So, I mean, the whole thing was probably a 12-second ordeal. So that kind of was the race there for me. But otherwise, would have been fun to see what would have ended up happening with Scott. Slightly different strategies probably, but if it weren't for that, I actually think I probably would have had the pace today, race pace at least, to maybe get a win, but it's all good.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what happened to you, and I thought maybe you just run off because the session kind of showed some off track and stuff. So yeah, we definitely missed that. So that's my apologies, and everybody watching. That is my bad. I completely missed.
Oh,
that.
no worries.
But, yeah,
no worries
you
at
were
all.
Definitely super fast. So we were having a lot of fun watching you go around the track and just lay down some really nasty laps. So just disappointing to get to not get the win, but I mean to come back, finish second, stay in it. because it's really easy to give up. I feel like and just say, oh well, that's it for me. I'm not going to be able to win, and just kind of say, well, the hell with it. But you stuck with it and came back and was able to finish second. So that's got to be good as we go into the last couple races. There at the end, you were able to kind of, start to cut into that lead a little bit and try to keep the pressure on just a little bit. But being 14 seconds back, that's hard to make up. But let's talk about Nashville as I just completely flubbed through this interview, apparently.
No,
Let's
not
talk
at all.
about Nashville a little bit. You're pretty close to Scott Rankin. He's able to extend that lead out just a little bit. But we got Nashville and then we got Laguna Seca. Nashville's a very interesting track for these cars. But Laguna Seca is a whole different kind of beast. It is a tough technical track. So talk to me about these next 2 weeks. How are you going to attack those to try to get that points lead and try to win this championship?
Well, I guess next week I'll try to do what I did last week with the oval, which was finish. We've having some trouble with ovals in the early season, just with some contact and stuff, and not finishing races. So last week I was just trying to finish and end up not choosing. Ryan and I didn't choose quite the right strategy. We went for a bit of a gamble and didn't pay off for us when we had that one more caution. But so I'll try to do the same thing for Nashville. Probably just try to keep it safe to the end, and then if I'm there at the end, I'll race it. Unfortunately, I really love Laguna Seca, but I'll be out of town, so I won't make that race.
Ah, bummer. Well, we hate
Yeah.
to hear that because I think you put on a pretty good show there. But tonight you did the same thing, put on a really good show. Second place for you. Congratulations. Who you got to thank?
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it. Well, Good Luck Racing. Thanks for putting this on. It's been really fun. And then they have a bunch of sponsors, big one, Lincoln Tech. And then I got to thank my team, Part-Time Pros. We didn't quite do what we wanted to do today, but it was fun. And it's just thanks for Ryan not being able to make the second place there at the very end.
All right. Well, there you have it. Nathan Graham comes home in second place, but a really good finish for him. He has been stout all year long, but we got to get our winner. He's been patiently waiting. He was a little bit lagging coming back into Discord, so he started with third. We normally like to start with the lead, but let's get Scott Rankin in here. Scott, that's 2 in a row for you. Man, incredible race tonight. And you had to put the strategy down to make this work. You texted me before the race saying, this is the strategy I think is going to work, and you played it perfectly. And it seemed like that was the big game changer. You had to stay out of trouble, but that strategy seemed to work out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was taking a read on things. I want to say big shout out first to Nathan. That was his race tonight. So I was the last couple laps I was sitting there going, is the right thing to win this on the track? Because I hate winning it through that sort of stuff. So I'd rather see Nathan, and I was having a bit of an ethical dilemma. So big shout out to Nathan. I mean, I had one lap pace, but his long stint pace was much better. In regards to the strategy, yeah, the fuel went longer than I thought it was going to go on that first stint, because I texted you and I said, look, I'm actually worried about fuel on this first stint, and the softs or the alternate tires, they go off. 6 laps is sort of the range where you're comfortable. Anything beyond 6 laps is where you start having a lot of problems with looseness. Lighter fuel load in the last stint does definitely help looking after the tires, but the other problem that brings around is the rear end of the car wants to come around. The car's just much more agile, so it puts more heat through the rear tires. So yeah, look, I mean, that's not exactly the strategy I played. I wanted to pit 1 lap later, but I absolutely had to stay in range or at least cover off Ryan. So he sort of forced my hand to pit 1 lap earlier than I wanted. I was even contemplating going to 5 laps to the end as well in the soft, so there was no problems with the tire whatsoever. But hey, it worked out. We harassed him, harangued him, put him in some rough positions, and he cooked the rear tires. That's what that one came down to.
Yeah, it was fun to watch you guys battle. I mean, there was quite a few good battles all throughout the race, and the one at the end was very exciting. It was a bummer that he had those extra laps on his tires and just could not keep up because he burned through those push to pass that he had saved for that final stint to try to overtake you. So just exciting race all the way around. And this IndyCar series, while the fields have been relatively small compared to other like our oval series and stuff here at Go Locker, I'd say the competitiveness of this series has been top notch, one of the better ones, just because of you four, for the most part, up front, have been really exciting. So it's really cool to watch you guys race. I always love watching folks who are good at what they do and learning from them. And so being able to watch you and Nathan Ryan and Provo. It's been a lot of fun to kind of watch, learn more about IndyCar, the strategies and stuff. And you guys have taught me and hopefully the viewers a lot. So, congratulations on win number 3 of the season, 2 in a row. And you got to go to Nashville and try to get 3 in a row there. How do you feel about Nashville and your bid to try to win this championship?
Nashville's actually one of the tracks I've competed in I don't know how much the viewers actually know about the top level IndyCar stuff, but Lionheart IndyCar series is considered the top echelon of the sport, and I've sort of competed in their second string series. And Nashville's one of those places that in an IndyCar brings me a lot of joy, but also a lot of pain because I was the only driver in the field in that race I did at Nashville to actually make more than 8 spots across the night, and I made 20, and then I threw them away in a pit stop. So it's one of those tracks I really really like. I feel comfortable at. It's the grip level is definitely different. The IndyCar is not happy with the concrete and jumping around across the gaps and the blocks as well. So that's an adapting thing. The track itself is relatively low grip. It's a very difficult track to nail, and it actually creates really really good racing if you know what you're doing. It'll create better racing than Gateway did. Put it that way. You are actually able to overtake without a significant offset. So, planning your race, nailing your marks. And the thing about Nashville as well is that groove can actually come, a car width off the bottom, and you can hold your pace up there. Nailing that bottom tends to be quicker, but there are conditions that suit, the groove can move and a whole bunch of bits and pieces. So look, Nashville's going to be a really, really technical, tricky track. And Brian's been learning so much. It's been good to chat to him and Nathan after each of the races as well. And I'm just talking to them, hey, try this when you go to next race, work on this, and just watching those guys learn and improve is just it's ridiculous.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Laguna Seca because I would love to pick your brain. It's my favorite track in the world, um, and it's just one of my favorites. Now, I think GT3 cars do a really good job. Body cars do really good, but open wheel cars, what a dangerous track for these cars to go around this track. I mean, there's a lot of elevation changes, really quick. The left-handers, lots of places to go off, drop tires off quickly, and these cars just do not respond to that very well. So talk to me about how difficult is it going to be for these guys at Laguna Seca in these Indy cars?
Incredibly difficult. Laguna Seca actually feels kind of like a street circuit, just with a little bit of leeway. I haven't driven there since the update in the IndyCar to the gravel. But what used to happen is that as soon as you touched the outside of the track surface and fence, that was it. You were basically not pulling it up unless you were just slightly offline. It's tough. It's a really really interesting one because it depends what the strategy looks like and the lap counts look like and the fuel mileage looks like because I've done 25 laps on a set of alternate tires there and run my fastest laps 2 laps from the end of the stint. Just because the fuel drop off, if you can look after the tire, keep the heat out of the tire, it keeps itself in the window and you can absolutely drive it. The difficulty to do that is that took fuel map 5 for the duration, which is the slowest of the green flag racing maps. And that was an alternate strategy I ran because I was out of options. I wanted to do something funky. I wanted to do something to win the race, and it did win the race. So it's that one's going to come down to strategy. You're not going to make a pass. Passing on the track is so incredibly difficult. There, it's going to require a mistake. But we've seen that from everyone inside the top 4 tonight. Everyone made mistakes at different points in that race. So it's I would say it's going to be about being clinical, being decisive, and just putting yourself in the right positions. I mean, if I go to Laguna Seca and I've got a 10-point buffer in the championship, I'm running fourth. I'm not interested in fighting you guys. I'm keeping the front wing on the thing. I'm keeping wheels on the thing. That's the only goal. So not giving people a window to get back in. Because the risk level, you take so much risk there for very little reward.
Yeah, I mean, push to pass won't really come into too handy there.
Nah.
Man, congratulations on another win, 2 in a row, 3 on the season. Been an incredible season out of you. Definitely kind of put on a clinic here. You all 4 of you guys have been pretty incredible, but you've been just that little bit extra, and that's why you have such a nice points lead. So congratulations on that. And as always, man, who you got to thank?
Look, I'm gonna start off with the I'm actually just trying to get the series sponsors up because I think it's really, really important that these guys get it done for us. There's no goat locker, there's no ability to support veterans in need. There's no ability to go racing without the league sponsors. And so that starts off with the primary sponsor for the IndyCar series, Lincoln Tech. The country's largest automotive technical schools. Brilliant job by them. It's really good to have them on the car and working with as well. In vets, relevant sound, gem printing and promotions, cruising classics. I have a cruising classics shirt from a while back. I think I won an all-star race, and that's got pride of place in my cupboard. So it's for them to be on the league for such a long period of time. Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Veterans for Life Foundation, Right Now Roofing, Alexander PCs, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing. iRacing as well. The fact that they've come on board to give free subs for a year to veterans that receive sim rigs is really good to get people in to racing and supporting everyone. Really do love the work that iRacing do, and not a lot of people give them enough support. Big Fish Barbecue as well. To my personal sponsors, Tristan Yelland, who's a guy that's stuck in a wheelchair, he's my primary sponsor. He's the reason Europower's on my car, and he still finds ways to get involved in the sim racing community, all about disability and everything, getting out there, getting racing. He does a phenomenal job supporting a number of Australian drivers. And McConey Setup Shop can't get it done without Jeff McConey and the crew. They're just brilliant to me. Really look after me. So thank you very much for having me, Eddie, and to the league, to all the drivers that have jumped into the IndyCar as well. It's a tough car. You guys have done brilliant to get this far. Keep giving it a crack. It is a car that takes, I would say, at least 6 months before you start really getting into it. So the guys that have been here this long, thank you.
All right. Well, there you have it. Your winner here tonight, Scott Rankin, takes the victory at Road America. Well, from Elkhart, Wisconsin, I'm Eddie Smith, and man, we're going to call it quits after that. What a great race. Very exciting. And every single race in that way. So, man, what a great series. I think the four drivers who have been the best have probably wanted this series more than anybody, and they are showing why, man. It is so much fun to watch these guys knocking these races out of the park. It's been a blast. All right, well, thank y'all so much. All those sponsors that they mentioned, definitely want to appreciate them. Pat and Jamie for what they do. Adam Baker and Bradley Cooper for their help over at V-Speed. Could do without them. And everybody else is watching. If you're not subscribed, if you're going back and watching, if you did catch the tail end of this, definitely hit that subscribe button on V-Speed. We definitely appreciate it. Got a lot of leagues that we broadcast over here, so we'd love to have your viewership on other tracks and other series, and that way we can kind of cross pollinate. Anyway, that's Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. I'm Eddie Smith from V-Speed. We will see y'all next week on the Music City of Nashville, and just 2 races to crown champion in this summer series. So we'll see who gets it done. We'll see y'all next week.